Ahum.
Ahum.
From the syllable Ram in my speech center arises fire, consuming my tongue, which is transformed into a three-spoked Vajra of red light. In its center are the vowels and consonants, and around them the mantra of the essence of interdependent origination.
Sometimes Zoom interferes. Two or more people chanting together.
Yeah, Frank, can you
Oh,
mute your
I'm not.
microphone, please?
I just muted Frank. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Right, we love you, Frank.
All right.
In its center are the vowels and consonants, and around them the mantra of the essence of interdependent origination. Their syllables are like strings of pearls.
Frank, can you mute your microphone, please?
I thought I was.
Okay. Now.
All right. Their syllables are like strings of pearls. From them, light streams out, making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and pleasing them. As it converges back, all the obscurations of my speech are purified, and I obtain all the blessings and cities of Vajra speech.
And we can chant together, or it's okay now. Well, I'll say alpha consonants first.
Shaha Sakya Soha. Ready, lady, Yarlo Shaha Sakya Soha. Ready, lele, o ang a.
Can you mute your microphone, please?
Shaha Sakya Soha. Re lele o ang a. Kakagan sa ta 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 ta. Yarala washaha sakya. Re lele o ang a. Kakagan
Imam Bande Ma Shamana Yazo Dharma Baba Dingen Tathangata Hayavande Dingen Zayanero Imam Bande Ma Shamana Yazo Dharma Baba Dingen Tathanga Hayavande Dingen Zayanero Imam Bande Ma Shamana Yazo Dharma Baba Dingen Tathanga Yavande Dingenzo Nero Mangade Mahajamana Om Sambara Sambara
Sarva
Nasara Maham Samara Samara Bimanakara Madhava Om Rudziramani Barbadana Soha Shrim Benzara Zia Mandadara Dani Om Sambara Sambara Bimanasa Saraman Zambhavam Samara Samara Bimakara Mahandavam Suramani Parvadani Soha Benzain Zamandra Dharadani Om Sambara Sambara Bimana Saramahan Zambhavam Samara Samara Bimakara Mahandavam Ruzaramani Babadani Soha Shem Benzara Zamanda Dharani Soha. Okay, we can move next. Mamanjano, 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 Nimu Tebe Kesara Shivani, Dabji Chunja Lama Yalai. Le time yamo jabo sevai kawan baba jabe jevo de jen golo jen de jo chantan jin kunjan jen so.
O Lama, care for me. From the blossoming lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, rise up, O compassionate Lama, my only refuge. I am plagued by past actions and turbulent emotions. To protect me in my misfortune, remain as the jewel ornament on the crown of my head, the chakra of great bliss. Arousing all my mindfulness and awareness, I pray.
Anjandane shindane baraka jiva tondro topare churva karten de la pembaram haroma chini yondan java kalanjo zizon meda tongi pintanda androvi jeshe karla dadan son jiva tsezo namge londa de rezaran babje shinde nyamdo Tujinyan Yarbon Roger Longchen Rabjam Yeshi Jimandra Jivoten Kando Kando Jan. Need to move Jivoten Kando Kando Jan Leje Lene Chima Hinde Jason. Zizi mare wangi jewo na meta la dang son nam son ruang bo da de mingkin ko ro pena zang ken ko ko ai shi tari nyarwa ye da tondro da chen la 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 long da chi sanje ma jong chen dong ku ba de men kong je le tarwe tarwa Minjoro wambo zantang yirvi ji lenta malo tena tepa rani yurva nga zang sanji chong chuzong tenpa netan tela yu yinyen tambe sendan shenjura nga tamche rongla chongwe netar jemang epa mebe tsebong ne jikten paro nida songwaran Luna chula jorjin guru chen lam guru namba ma bong chen chi 因此弥陀真见拉满见特里特赞同有玛耶那今年塔瓦周贝丹美尼等着等来说那个谁觉得那些我的眼上眼着人家给的没几就业这门徒给为一趟门家的藏的些僧间藏界长堂人巴拉三那门女头发心他藏没有就没得了就弄那就心就把一莫干嘛藏罗那就来就先过了人间啷过来门把拉马桶跟前进你说没多成千拉满天卡的没路人间冷清阳但上了就不接他说这边等的没容易进七八的对接心汤头安住人安跑到爬山来录音先考了真用就打来就莫说长经见解门空接到了究竟感到老辈罗那就了就心个人家不然门把马桶跟前接你说没到成千浪漫前就是穷心这边诺看都是小辈见堂就做没个的浪漫真的他同伴娘亲他在二巴的日记落叶门口南巴到了秋天感到老辈子老那秋来就应个人去啷个人们把人马桶跟前去你说没到真相我们他你懂等来起码是成佛老少一些往马觉让我特别等着人这人的明白我的谈就去算了活动龙去年等着我大姐一把的送为人的样马爷弄的撒娇当白家我当下路一起耳朵有难解怪心的结老难求来就心个人前啷个人们把人马当真经济是没到真经拉满前对对理解难免起心脏七八人有人就看你什么假设撒言从今人个人潮把位置国内交钱真不温度不把位置need to move up把位置先给我出去人数跟那稍微没谁节省些抗日登不人大当全家节将来常日浪给大北浪索内求了健康他不来的外明爱居民基本东北洋所谓东阿拉那不来高啊手机绕当起给那百姓行人当见上当八万小运动呢老不来给的给的钱不知从哪讲的让自己的特来接的接让伢谈真让没那没人过来我当就我见我当个我当我说我的个性就被人在我囊中就被抗的行为接当照顾个人结为在老那就了就心个人情啷个人们把人马当跟亲戚你是没到成见拉满最近碰了娘们各位有人啥东龙球没有没着最碰了龙大人没你也大已经当为到面了南北上空里行为觉能生啊因就来就在说病就快去 Korshin Jobe Nyamta Londorama Panta Mipe Dungar Jisere Sama Demo Memba in Chamba Luna Chula Joshin Goranche Langora Membara Mata Kunchin Nisa Meto Chunjan Lama Chulam Shoujon Yeju Medang Shin Kikian Guryu Champion Samtan Char Wang Xie Top Yong Jizo Omegombe Wang Xie Top Yong Jizo Omegombe Lam Koron De Le Lame Jarlo Tawa Mato Toju Juba Jian Gomba Xinjiang Koyo Gunta Juba Norjong Rongchong Mesenbe Chudri Dele Lame Jarlo Nambaran Chiang Nego Nola Si Natsu Yonjong Yung Joye Toba Kyongyong Yoden Jinda Lam Mari Dele Lame Jarlo Jinkaran Joryong Dunzi Nigorazen Embara Danjang Rongju Jindara Torwara Maya Chadong Mayi Be Chujin Dele Lame Rada Ninton Dele Nyoda Zeta Zo Chimun Dele Nyoda Yang in English.
This free and well-favored human form is difficult to obtain. Now that you have the chance to realize the full human potential, if you don't make good use of this opportunity, how could you possibly expect to have such a chance again? This existence of ours is as transient as autumn clouds. To watch the birth and death of beings is like looking at the movement of a dance. A lifetime is like a flash of lightning in the sky, rushing by like a torrent down a steep mountain. When his time has come, even a king has to die, and neither his friends nor his wealth can follow him. So for us, wherever we stay, wherever we go, karma follows us like a shadow. Because of craving, attachment, and ignorance, men, gods, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings foolishly go around like the turning of a potter's wheel. Being born in hell, preta, or animal realms, amidst long-living gods, in uncivilized lands, or with wrong views, in a world where a Buddha has not come or incapable of understanding. Now I am free from these 8 states where there's no chance for Dharma practice, born a human being, with all my faculties intact, and in a central land, my lifestyle is not harmful and wrong, and with faith in Buddha's teaching, all 5 personal advantages are complete. A Buddha has come, he has taught the Dharma, it has survived. I have embraced it, and a true spiritual friend has accepted me. I have the 5 advantages due to circumstances. Although in a position where I have every one of them, once this life so fraught with uncertainty is relinquished, I will go on to yet another realm of existence. Oh, Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa and Jigme Lingpa, keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. If I do not seize the opportunity this present freedom offers, I will not find such a basis for attaining liberation later on. Once the merit that has provided this happy existence is spent, after death I will wander as a being in the lower realms. Not knowing good from bad, I will never hear the sound of Dharma, nor meet a spiritual friend, a terrible disaster. Only to think of the numbers and kinds of sentient beings is to realize just how slim is the chance of gaining a human body. And even among human beings, to see how their behavior is so harmful and contrary to Dharma, is to realize that those who really act according to Dharma are as rare as stars in broad daylight. Oh, Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa and Jigme Limpa, keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. Even though I have reached this jewel island, the human body, a fickle and impetuous mind in such a promising basis makes it no good as a foundation for attaining liberation, especially when misled by corrupting influences or with the 5 poisons raging inside. When negative karma overtakes me or I am distracted by laziness. Like a slave under someone else's control, turning to dharma simply out of insecurity or fear or merely pretending to practice. Or chronically senseless and stupid. These are the 8 incidental circumstances that make dharma impossible. When they come upon me, menacing my dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchen and Jigme Lingpa, keep me from straying onto wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. With little renunciation and without the jewel of devotion, caught in the bonds of worldly ties and cravings or with crude degenerate behavior, never holding back from negative harmful actions and without the slightest real interest, with vows all broken and samaya torn to shreds, these are the 8 impossible states where mind cuts us off from the dharma. When they come upon me, menacing my dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa and Jigme Lingpa, keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. At this moment, I am not ravaged by sickness and pain, nor am I a slave or such under another's control. So now that I have this perfect, auspicious quality of total independence, if I waste the freedom of this human life through my own indolence, no need to worry about companions, possessions, relatives, and loved ones. When this body I hold so dear is carried out alone from its bed to some desolate spot to be torn to pieces by foxes, vultures, and dogs. Then, in the Bardo realm, there will be nothing but terror in store. O Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa and Jigme Lingpa, please keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. The results of beneficial and harmful actions will follow me. If I am born in the hell realms, on a floor of burning iron, head and body hacked with weapons, ripped apart with saws, and crushed with red-hot hammers, trapped in a doorless iron cell, screaming out loud, impaled on hot red spikes, or boiled in molten bronze, and burned in a fire of the intensest heat in the 8 hot hells. On the crests of snow mountains, on precipices of ice, terrifying places engulfed by squalls and blizzards of snow, my tender body, lashed by freezing winds, breaks out in blisters which burst open into festering sores, in a ceaseless wail of agonized screams and suffering, hard even to think about. Like a dying person whose strength is all gone, I let out deep gasps and groans. My teeth clenched, my skin cracks open, and the raw flesh exposed splits deeper, and yet again in the 8 cold hells. My feet are cut to ribbons in the plain of razor blades. In the forest of sword blades, my body is gashed and chopped. I sink into the swamp of putrefying corpses and the pit of hot embers. All in the neighboring hells that ring the hell of ultimate torment. And then the unchanging, uncertain hells, born in a door, a pillar, a fireplace, a rope, and the like, always made use of and exploited in these ephemeral hells. When the cause of being born in any of the 18 hells, intense hatred and aggression arises, O Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa and Jigme Lingpa, please keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. Likewise, in a grim and destitute realm where the words food, drink, and comfort have never been heard, the praetas find nothing to eat or drink for months and years on end. Their bodies are emaciated and they lack even the strength to stand. They suffer from the 3 kinds of obscurations. And the reason for being born as one is greed. in the constant dread of being killed and eaten by one another, exploited and worked until exhaustion, bewildered as to what to do or not to do. Animals are oppressed by limitless suffering, the seed of which is stubborn stupidity. When I wander into darkness, O Guru Rinpoche, turn my mind toward the practice, care for me. Omniscient masters Longchenpa, Jigme Lingpa, keep me from straying onto the wrong paths. Compassionate Lama, you who are one with them, care for me. Though I have entered the path of the Dharma, I haven't put a stop to my erring ways. Though I have entered the door of the Mahayana, I am devoid of any beneficial thought for others. Though I have received the 4 empowerments, I do not practice the development and completion phases of meditation. O Lama, free me from straying from the path. Though I have not realized the view, I act as if a master of crazy wisdom. Though I'm distracted in my meditation, I let myself get stuck in mental gossip and concepts. Though it's my own actions that are at fault, it's someone else I blame. O Lama, free me from becoming so arrogant and opinionated, so stubborn and insensitive. Though I may die tomorrow, I am full of craving for home, clothes, and possessions. Though I am quite old, I'm not mature enough to have the slightest renunciation for samsara. Though I have truly heard only a little Dharma teaching, I pride myself on all my knowledge. O Lama, free me from such ignorance. Though I may be rushing into danger, I go Dharma socializing in crowds and public places, thinking, I'm on a pilgrimage. Though going on solitary retreats, my basic character remains as tough as a block of wood. Though appearing calm and speaking softly, I haven't got rid of the attachment and aversion boiling inside. O Lama, free me from these 8 worldly concerns. Quickly rouse me from this deep sleep of ignorance. Quickly set me free from this dismal self-imprisonment.
Sorry, I mute myself. Kunjo zongo beye zawa zong zalong tegle rongi janjo sen. Ngo rongi terje jingko la janjo nyingbo barda jasa. Twice in English.
In the 3 jewels and their essence, the Sugatas, in the 3 roots, Lama, Yidam, and Khandro, in the channels, inner air, and bindus, and their nature, the bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. In the 3 jewels and their essence, the Sugatas, in the 3 roots, Lama, Yidam, and Khandro, in the channels, inner air, and bindus, and their nature, the bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. Ho! Mesmerized by the sheer variety of perceptions, which are like the illusory reflections of the moon in water. Beings wander endlessly astray in samsara's vicious cycle in order that they may find comfort and ease in the luminosity and all-pervading space of the true nature of their minds. I generate the immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity of the awakened mind of the heart of bodhicitta. Ho! Mesmerized by the sheer variety of perceptions, which are like the illusory reflections of the moon in water. Beings wander endlessly astray in samsara's vicious cycle, in order that they may find comfort and ease in the luminosity and all-pervading space of the true nature of their minds. I generate the immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity of the awakened mind, the heart of bodhicitta.
Danyen tamai jivara, pekaranda vedanji, ongle dorje, lama dorje san, karsara longchen dorje rinze nyamache, chula jamsora dekha jang, chako ndolo Shinji Zola Padjadam Chudum Dawa Jibiteng Ungyin Tama Ngaji Kor Diba Ngaji Jibur Yam Yam Dero Junsan Doze Shangjo Semji Jin Kabura Dordan Zabaye Dadan Kamsang Semjenji Nedan Dikje Nyedan Malu Yawan
I am in ordinary form. Above my head on a white lotus, in the center of a moon disk seat is Hong, which becomes the Lama Vajrasattva. Brilliant white and complete Sambhogakaya adornments. I take refuge in you and pray, purify all our negative actions. Holding Vajra and bell and embracing the consort Vajragarva, I take refuge in you and pray, purify all our negative actions. With the deepest regret, I acknowledge them all and ask for your forgiveness. From now on, even if my life is at stake, I shall refrain from indulging in them again. In your heart, upon a full moon, is the letter Hum, encircled by the mantra. Reciting the mantra invokes your wisdom mind, and from the point of union of the blissful play of Yabyum, a cloud of bodhicitta nectar flows down like a shining stream of milk. Through this, for me and all sentient beings of the three worlds, may our negative karma and destructive emotions, the causes of suffering, illnesses, harmful influences, negative actions, and obscurations, along with wrongdoing, downfalls, and blockages due to breakages of samaya, be purified till not a single one remains.
This is a very important and powerful practice, the Vajrasattva practice. It's how to visualize the deity and how to recite mantra and so forth. It's explained in the word of my perfect teacher, if you want to look. Not only this, the refuge prayer and also the bodhicitta prayer, this four lines also in there if you look at those. Om Benzarasado Zamaya Manu Balaya Benzarasado Dinu Badi Dandro Me Baba Subogayo Me Baba Subogayo Me Anurado Me Baba Sarvasada Me Bayanta Sarva Karma Sutsame Sudan Yuriyan Goro Aho Bangavana Sarva Tadanga Dan Mame Mandan Om Bandrasado Samaya Manabalaya Bandrasado Dinava Chandra Mevama Sobogaya Mevama Sobogaya Anarado Mevava Sarva Sadana Brahmana Sarva Karma Sadame Sudanyan Roham O Bangavana Sarva Dadanga Dambam Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bandra Sadhu Samaya Amibalaya Bandra Sadhu Tino Bhakti Dhamindu Nidhava Soto Kaya Nidhava Soto Kaya Aniradha Nidhava Sarva Sudhima Bharyanta Sarva Karma Sutame Sut Yurayam Guru Maha Pandavam Sarva Tadanga Dhamma Bombo Bane Chi Mombaye Tamze Lenen Dzogchen Lamang Gombo Janzo So Dorjien Zimba De Tukji Chenbo Danyi Jen Roe Sola Dajan Ji Gu Song Togu Zawa Tang Yin Lage Tamze Nyamba Tamjin Tolo Xia So Tikpa Dan Treba Nyedungi Chume So Tamje Shangshin Tabaran Zeto So Xi Zoro Jupe Dorje Sumban Jishin Zumba Tang Jipe Rege Puchuji Dikchen Nyedung Tam Tabayin No Xi Tabayin No Xi Mawan Jine Wudushin Rani La Tembe Jenle Rani Jang Dorje Sumba No Tong Melan Nonge Sunyen Tavurachir Tuzo Hongen Tamar Yigin Drishipo Sarvale Wuziran Chu Kamsong Nuju Dang Jiba Dorsen Ringe Tendang Tem Ranyin De Songji Barai Jo
O protector, in my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against and corrupted my samaya. Lama protector, be my refuge. Chief of all the mandalas, Vajra holder, embodiment of great compassion, chief of all living beings, in you I take refuge. I confess all my impairments of the root and branch samayas of the body, speech, and mind. I implore you, let my negative actions, obscurations, wrongdoing, and downfalls, all my flaws, be completely cleansed and purified. At these words of mine, Vajrasattva is pleased and smiling, says, son, daughter of an enlightened family, your negative actions, obscurations, wrongdoing, and downfalls are all purified. Granting his forgiveness, he melts into light and dissolves into me. Through this, I too become Vajrasattva, appearing yet empty, like a reflection in a mirror. At my heart is Hum, around which the four brilliantly radiant syllables, Om Vajrasattva, emanate rays of light, whereby the three worlds, the whole universe of the environment and beings within it, attain enlightenment altogether, as the Buddha fields and Buddhas of the five families of Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva Hum.
Om Bandha Sadhu 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 Kewan de Yi Nyordo Dorje Samban Rogeron Roa Jigyam Malu Bade Salang Kubare Sho.
Through the positivity and merit of this, may I swiftly attain the realization of Vajrasattva, and thereby every single sentient being reach his state of perfection too.
Mandala. Om Ahum Tongson Jigden Shewan Chanji Shin Rinchen Ade Lami Jivayeta Alu Longju Jiba Yombro We Chuji Nkolo Jivi Zito Omi Dechen Togo Gobe Jin Yiba Ngaden Ringen Chunpe Bouillon, je vais répondre sans y pas crever non plus, chinois, je parais. Non, c'est un homme d'âge, ne vendez que tout est manga, chuni, revêti. Pourtant, tes lens en bas, non d'âge, crever, je parais chaud.
Om Ah Hum. 1 billion universes, 100 times 10 million worlds, filled with all the wealth of gods and human beings, like the 7 precious gems, my bodies, my possessions, and my sources of merit all together. I offer them in their entirety, so that I may be born as a Nirmanakaya and turn the wheel of Dharma, liberating all beings. The highest heaven of great bliss, the realm of Tukpo Kopa, perfect with the 5 certainties, the mandala of the 5 Buddha families, and inconceivably vast clouds of offerings of every variety of sensual and emotional stimulants. With this offering, may I enjoy the perfection of the Sambhogakaya fields, where all appearance and existence are completely pure from the very beginning, the youthful vase body, ornamented by the play of dharmata, unceasing compassion, the realm where all clinging to the perception of kayas and tikles is naturally liberated. With this wisdom offering, may I enjoy the freedom of the Dharmakaya reality.
And here we stop our first section of our morning practice. And now, before we just go to the text, there is few questions that I will try to answer. And then if you have more questions, we can do afternoon section before, at the beginning of the afternoon section. Okay.
Yes. So, okay, do you want questions or you follow with the section?
If you have, how many questions? You say four questions or something?
I have like 4 questions.
Yeah, that's I can do first. It's fine.
Okay, so the first question is, does the end of reification only occur through realization?
One more does.
Does the end of reification only occur through realization?
Seems the question is, reification means you are clinging on, yeah. Realization is positive. Reification is negative in a here sense of Chö Ying Dzöd. I'm not sure. The question is that I understand correctly or?
Yes, that is a question.
Seems here, reification means something established or exist. Realization should not be on that because nothing exists. The realization should be there is no reification of anything. Second?
Yeah. So second question is, refer to page 103, last paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
So the citation is, so please come to a decisive experience of causality. What would be examples of a decisive experience of causality?
Here, the translation in English is a little bit awkward in English. It's decisive experience. First of all, in Tibetan, we don't have experience here. And decisive is also seems adjective used here, but Tibetan is really mean verbal form. It's saying you need to decide that the causality, you need to decide that everything is beyond causality, beyond, there's no cause and condition. You need to understand or realize that. As decisive here means you need to understand, you need to realize that there is no causality, there is no cause and condition and fruit.
Thank
So
you,
one
Khenpo.
thing here I don't like use as experience here.
Okay, perfect. So the question is, this page 93, the most sublime form of meditation involves no recollection or thinking. So he said, compared to whatever is now taking place in your mind, rest in natural peace. Then the question is, isn't it then true that resting in natural awareness will happen in the space between thoughts?
Yes, that's I think is correct with when thought occurs or thought arises, then there's no room for settling in a nature state. So when nature state occur, or we are our mind nature resting in on nature place, then there's no room for thoughts. So this, if we can think about between, then it's okay. But when it occurs, then we don't really think that there is time, because the time is also a concept. When you really meditate and recognize or settling in mind nature, but time also collapses. So there's no past and future or present moment. It's just everything's collapse. And sometimes we call in the Dzogchen, we call the fourth time, but it's not really time. It's beyond these three times.
Yes, the next question is, Khenpo, can you share Trekchö instruction to Chiche?
Trekchö what?
To Chiche. I think he's thanking you. But at the end, he says the question is if there is any kind of Trekchö instruction that can be shared.
Can I share Trekchö with him or her?
Yeah, saying that if there is any kind of a book of instructions or PDF with instructions that can be shared related to instructions for doing or for practicing Trekchö.
Yeah, I think we can share the Yeshi Lama that is Yingmei Lingba's text, also available in English. They has both Trekchö practice and Toga practice. But mainly, it's chapter 10 is Trekchö practice in this Chö Ying Dzöd. And if you want to practice Trekchö, then there is some preliminary practice for Trekchö. All shows in the Yeshi Lama. That's later we can share in the lunchtime. If maybe someone has already, but if not, I can share that document. I think I have a PDF file of it.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. And the last question, I don't know if we have time for a last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, with respect to straying, aren't we going to stray as thoughts don't cease, but are a natural generation of basic space? So the practice, actual Trekchö, is resting in awareness in the intervals between thoughts until it becomes permanent and thoughts are gone.
It's a little bit complicated there. It seems once you have this inner, yesterday I mentioned that we need to recognize our mind nature, and then we need to maturate or gain power to stabilize, more stabilize, and then final one is totally stabilize or become very stable in our mind. So up until that, we often Dzogchen teachers mention that you need to do practice short duration with many repetitions that they advise to do that to do that, because we cannot really hold the recognition of our own mind nature too long, because that is not holdable. It's just if it comes naturally, it's okay. Once we try to maintain it, then it's become muddy again. It's that's why the concept involves then the mind nature is obscure. That's just, what's going to happen. So if I understand the question correctly, there is maybe in the beginning we have the glimpse of the recognition of the Rigpa, but that's very fast, and we cannot maintain on that. But we need to practice to maintain that state as much as we can through repetition, and then slowly our recognition or the maintaining on our mind nature will extend to duration much longer and longer, and then you can stay in that state for hours, or then if you are really great meditator of Dzogchen, then can maintain or stay in that state for days. I think that's what so far we can discuss up to there. And then now we continue to look or read, or you can listen. I can talk a little bit about what these lines are. First, on page 105, last line, where we stopped. So this chapter is, we know that all about the conduct. And now you know view. View means the realize the reality of mind, your own mind nature. That's view. And then based on that, the meditation comes. The meditation is, there is no conceptual frameworks that involved in a meditation, in Dzogchen meditation. which is called Trekchö, the cutting through meditation. Cutting through meditation is, in our Dzogchen teachings, we have two types of practice, meditation practice. One is called Togar. I think we can say immediate seeing or direct seeing. That's the one thing. And the simple one is called Trekchö practice, the cutting through practice, which doesn't have much visions or visualizations or other deity yogas or Zalong. It's a simple, powerful, and also in the Dzogchen teachings, it's called the kin faculties or sharp faculties for one who has sharp faculty. And also, if you, many of us maybe are kind of lazy practitioners. They say these Trekchö practice for lazy practitioners who have maybe kin faculty or sharp faculty. And so you don't have, of course, you need to meditate constantly and repeatedly, but there is not much bodily or speechly or physical works to do. Toga is different. Everything is, there's 3 postures and 3 gazings and all sort of how you sit, how you look at. Those are important because this talks about the pure vision, how you see directly your own mind nature, which appears as a deities and mandalas and or pure vision. That's another state. If you are really into this Dzogchen practice, the Yeshe Lama is the most profound and comprehensive teaching that what we have. When it says that when Jinmei Lingpa died, his students ask what kind of teachings that should they follow. Then Jinmei Lingpa says, if people who didn't meet me or who didn't chance to see me, then the Yeshe Lama is as same as myself, and in the future, whoever sees or read or encounter with Yeshe Lama would be equivalent to seeing Jinmei Lingpa. So Jinmei Lingpa, why Jinmei Lingpa is important here? This morning our chanting is Longchen Rabjam and Jinmei Lingpa. These two are, we call the father and son Yingtik, Dzogchen Yingtik lineage holders. They're not, however, the Longchen Rabjam, between Longchen Rabjam and Jinmei Lingpa, there's many generations distant or gap. There's a gap of many generations. However, Longchen Rabjam appears in a wisdom body to Jinmei Lingpa in a vision and taught all Longchen Yingtik teachings. So therefore, it's a kind of direct transmission. And Jinmei Lingpa got direct transmission of Dzogchen from Longchen Rabjam, and he brought treasury of Longchen Yingtik. So that's why Jinmei Lingpa is important. And and a scholar, and Lingpa is a great scholar and also great Siddha practitioner and so forth. So if you are really interested in look at Yeshi Lama, and then Trekchö and Toga both are there. So now we are after meditation. Now, what kind of conduct or what kind of activities that we need to care about? Yesterday we have all sorts of activities, that negative activities such as something unwanted things that encounter with you, and then you could react that those are negative things and you need to want to reject, such as anger, dislike, envy, upset, or irritation. These are in a Dzogchen treatment. While you have these kind of involvements that occurs in your life, in your daily life, then it's not really negating them to forcefully discarding or destroying or even transforming. And those are not work in a reality. So what really we need to do, either positive reactions or negative reactions that occur in our daily life, is saying that here say, do not renounce them, indulge in them, and up until do not meditate on them. So you should not engage with them to do anything. You should not respond whatsoever. Means don't even try to transform or meditate. This is important. In sutras and tantras, often we have this first abandoning. Even for Noble Truth, we often know that we need to abandon or discard the cause of suffering. If you don't discard the cause of suffering, then cause of suffering will comes later. And then the tantras, then if we know bodhicharya avatara, bodhicitta, the bodhicitta which can transform or can change our negative action to positive action. Once you have bodhicitta, then even you know, whatever you do sort of become for the sake of other sentient beings. And then tantras, we visualize the deities, that the pure forms that sort of transformed negative things to in a positive way. But we are not doing that either. And then we have higher Dzogchen and Mahamudra. We have meditation, talk about meditation, but that is also not useful in this sense because even the negative reactions arise. The negative reactions are all the dynamic energy. We use that vocabulary, but it's not clear what does that mean. But in Tibetan, itself is the potential that arise in a certain way that reactions arise. So we cannot really abandon our our negative emotions, because that is part of our mental qualities or mental qualities. Yeah. And then now we have, that's kind of negative reactions. And then we have these, with now the last line, within an unconstrained awareness, which neither is nor is not. And then the next page is the sensory appearances are not fixated on as anything, but rather are encountered directly. This brings about a natural rest in a state that cannot be reified as anything. And suppression and indulgence, which are not anything that can be free in some way, fade without leaving a trace. An experience without fixation wells up from within. This itself, just as it is the timelessly spacious expanse of enlightened tent. So here we have first negative reactions, and then now is sort of neutral. Anything that when once our awareness, Rigpa. Here awareness means Rigpa, and uncontrived, so unfabricated Rigpa, which is neither is or nor is not, or which you cannot point out what it is. It's just free from elaboration. That's Rigpa. That's in that, within that state of our Rigpa, what occurs in a there, so everything arises from Rigpa and everything subside in a Rigpa, in a Dzogchen practice. And the sensory objects, here the English is much more interpretation than direct translations. So seems in the Tibetan that unfixated appearances or undifferentiated appearances occur, or you see. When you see undifferentiated appearance, which I think in Tibetan English that maybe translates that way, but which means you are not fixating on any particular experiences. While doing that, or while occurring that, and then what you should do is rest kind of naturally in rest naturally without reifying anything. Means you are not focusing on anything. So mainly the short way of saying is anything appears in your mind, you should not reify, or you should not engage with them whatsoever. So here, this morning's question reify. Reify here cannot be reified as anything. So cannot or should not reify anything that whatever appears. Once you are in, here is saying that we cannot stop appearing things. We can close our eyes, but we cannot close our mind. And we cannot, we have no power to stop the things that appear. But things appear, we cannot change them, or we cannot transform them. But what we can do is we can disengage with these appearances. How to do that is you are not resting naturally in that stage. When you do that, then here it's saying that they are liberated in their own place without any trace, leaving any trace. So here English is quite long. And then, so first things appear, we cannot stop that. While things appear, if you don't engage with them, just let it be, then it liberates itself without leaving any trace. Then what kind of result, if doing that, what kind of result will occur is here we have Nyam-nyong, the experience or the realization that unfixated experience or realization that wells up or it occurs in there. So you can see here we have in a daily life, we see things, we cannot stop that. But what we can do is we can disengage. While doing that, then it liberates itself. And you will again sort of unfixated realization occurred later. And then this itself, just as it is, also means this is what really happened. And this is the timelessly spacious expanse of enlightened intent. So we say enlightened intent realization is also quite long here. And expanse, spacious expanse is Tibetan's long, just one word, and timelessly is gong, so English is quite that is in a daily life. So whenever, if we are not in this state of our own mind nature, resting on our mind nature, then things occur all the time. And then, similarly, you may experience what is desirable and brings joy to the mind. Things accomplished with ease, friends, pleasant views, wealth to be enjoyed, and attractive place and regions. With anything attractive, there arises a state of mind that is naturally enriched by joy. When you identify these and when you identify these and rest imperturbably, settling naturally, you experience as uncontrived and spontaneously present and a primordial basic space. So similarly, that we have negative reactions that base on some, what we don't want things, and then here we have positive reactions that base on what we lack. So negative reactions are based on what we dislike, and positive reactions are what we lack. Based on what you may experience, again here is experience is not in Tibetan, somehow too many experience in here. So this desirable and bring joys to in your mind, that's whatever brings in that. And then also we think I accomplished something, or this is my friend, or this is pleasant news and so forth. The wealth and places, nice place in the region, those are attractive objects that draw your attention, and it's rise these positive reactions. And these due to these reactions, then we have sort of wanted to these things in our life, but that is also the conceptual or the fabrication or the temporary ephemeral things. Those are also, it's not permanent or mind nature. Therefore, anything that upgrade your mind nature or disrupt your mind nature, both positive reactions and more negative reactions, or positive thinkings or negative thinkings. So when these things occur with anything attractive, there arises a state of mind that is naturally enriched by joy. When occur that, and then what you need to do, we know that meditation and transforming and negating, and those are not work in a Dzogchen practice. What work here is when you identify these and rest imperturbably, settling naturally. So that's what the method of it. You are disengaging with that any object or any attractive objects. And rather, you rest imperturbably, means just engaging within, just first identify. Identify doesn't necessarily mean you need to analyze to say what quality of the objects, what kind of objects, but it's just saying you are in moment you encountered, and then your sense faculties need to retrieve or disengage and rest imperturbably and settling naturally in the mind nature. If you do that, then another you experience here, but not experience, maybe you reach to uncontrived and spontaneously stage, which is spontaneously present in primordial basic space. So here, primordial basic space means our mind nature, sometimes we call Buddha nature, which is sometimes called the ground. Ground means it's holds both samsara and nirvana, not sense of the samsara and nirvana exist in there, but it's the potential that samsara and nirvana arise from our mind nature. That mind nature is primordial basic space, which is spontaneously present and also primordially pure, sometimes we call it. And then you may have a neutral attitude. So we have a negative attitude and positive attitude or reaction. And now you may have a neutral attitude when you are going about or sitting or resting quiet indifferently, that is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Regardless of what arises, identify its nature as it arises without reacting positively or negatively. That's the true nature of phenomena, the naturally settled state without differentiation or exclusion is called ignorance free as supreme utter lucidity. So not only the negative or negative reactions or positive reactions arise, how we encounter with, how we can deal with them, but also these neutral attitude or neutral reactions that occurs, we need to engage, how we can engage with them. Here, whatever occurs in our mind, negative or positive or negative or neutral thoughts or reactions or attitudes that occur in our daily life. Due to that, we have sort of pleasant and unpleasant or like or unlike things. Whatever appears in, whatever occurs or whatever appears in our daily life, regardless of what arises or what appears. Identify, so it's used as identify all the time, but identify, I mentioned that it doesn't mean you need to thoroughly analyze what is the characteristic of that, what is the nature of negative karma and positive karmas, but it just means just glimpse of seeing it, and the moment you see it, then you don't need to further reaction to it. So that's why in Dzogchen meditations we open our eyes, because that doesn't, the objects appears to our eyes is not the problem. It's the objects. When you engage with objects, that's the appearance. That then it starts the either positive, negative, or neutral reactions that arise. So identify, Paris just recognize it, and then it's nature at its rise. So here in English we have nature as a rise. It's Tibetan, we don't have that. And so I think it's interpreting further. We don't really need to identify as its nature. Is we are not really seeking what nature it is. It's just disengaging is more important than knowing their characteristics. Once we analyze their characteristics, then we are engaging with them deeply, and then conceptual analysis, which is opposite of the Dzogchen view or meditation or conduct. So here then without reacting, once you encounter with these appearances or these conducts, attitudes, without reacting positively or negatively. The true nature of phenomena, which has no differentiation or exclusion, you cannot differentiate or exclude, or there's no partialities in a dharma. So which we call ignorant free as supreme utter lucidity. Or the ignorant liberates as a supreme utter lucidity or free. So here, when we disengage while recognizing the appearance, here recognizing means we are not really searching or analyze. But it's just seeing it. The moment you see it, then you are engage it. And then at night, that kind of, I think, implies the daytime, what we do, either negative or positive or neutral attitude or reactions that encounter in our daily life while you are doing something. And then in the nighttime, at night, and other times when you are overtaken by sleep, as you lie in a naturally settled state, free of the proliferation and resolution of thoughts. Sensory appearances that manifest in obvious ways disappear. So reification of them disappear as well. Now it's talking about in the nighttime when we go to sleep, either you have dream or not. In sleep, our core sense faculties are almost shut down. So here is we have more subtle way of subtle way that our mental activities taken or during our sleep state. When you sleep without contriving or without proliferating your thoughts, then the sensory appearance that manifests obvious ways disappear. So it disappears kind of naturally. And if that disappears or that subsides, then the revocation of them, conceptualizing them also will subside in the nighttime. If that subsides, then with the disappearance of even what is subtle or very subtle, together with the reification of it. So also the core thoughts or core concept or core, those are subside. Not only them, but also the subtle and very subtle thoughts or reifications also will diminish or disappear in a dream, in a sleep state. The mind that's aware in a uniform non-conceptual state abides naturally free of the occurrence of and involvement in the thoughts as well as hope and fear. This is the context in which all consuming concepts are free within the basic space of phenomena, and so is described as samsara being free as nirvana. And at this stage, then everything becomes equal in the mode of rigpa, mode of awareness. There was no hopes or fears coming and going, the kind of arising and ceasing hopes and fears. And then that is true nature where the rigpa abides. At this moment, then, or this time, all the proliferation of thoughts liberates in or as a dharmata, or sometimes we call basic space of phenomena, but dharmata is maybe easy to say these days. And if you want to a name of that, or it's called samsara being free as nirvana, or samsara is become nirvana. Samsara is becoming nirvana. Means samsara and nirvana are not two separate or different things. It's become one. And then even sleep is the primordial vast expanse occurring naturally. Expressions of dynamic energy are observed into the ground of being, into the basic space that is its essence, so that all the elaborations perceived as a display subside as a matter of course. This is the enlightened tent of naturally occurring timeless awareness in which nothing needs to be done. So even asleep itself is the primordial vast expanse, means our mind nature. Whatever occurs or expressions, whatever appears, whatever appears they are observed or they are subside or they are settled in that that nature of that dharma or the basic space or the mind nature. So this is the realization of the self-occurring gnosis or awareness. He used awareness here. Tibetan, we have Rigpa and Yeshi has two terms that a little bit different. He used both as awareness. Rigpa as awareness, Yeshi as awareness. Yeshi, here he used timeless awareness, but others, they use primordial knowing, or Ye means primordial, He means understanding or knowing. So that's, and Rigpa is often used as awareness. That's maybe, if we use different term, then maybe this either wisdom or knowing would be better. So the most important thing is here, which nothing need be done. So there's nothing you need to do, or you cannot do anything. That's the nature. Nature, you cannot change nature, means your mind. If you change your mind nature, means then you are fabricating, and that is not nature. Nagarjuna or other Buddhist teachers say nature means unfabricated and unchanging. If something you can change, something you can fabricate, then that means it's not nature. So we cannot change nature, therefore nothing needs to be done here. And that's all desirable, undesirable, and neutral mental states in which the three poisons arise as display due to the dynamic energy, occur within a basic space, arising within the context of that space, since they occur only within the basic space, not straying from it in least, without trying to anticipate or manipulate them in any way. It's crucial to identify basic space itself, for as soon as you rest in that contact, they will subside naturally, vanish naturally, and be free naturally. So here is, this verse is very important. It's summarized, easy to remember. Now we know early verses, passages that talk about either negative reactions arise or positive reactions arise, or neutral attitudes occur, then how to engage with them. Here, more sort of conclusion summary that thus all desirable, undesirable, the desirable is the positive things that occur and you want to do sort of positive reactions. And then undesirable means negative things occur, then you want to react negatively. And then neutral mental state, which occurs, then you are passing times and you sometimes we don't know what, how long have been gone at the moment, this kind of neutral state, mental states. And these, what we know is negative, positive and negative and neutral. These 3 points, based on these three, the 3 poisons arise. First, we have neutral mental state that ignorance is more not positive or negative, but just ignorant. And then we have some desirable things, and we have desire. And then undesirable things, we have hatred and so forth. What are these 3 poisons? When it arises, whatever arises, it's also as displays, or also they are the dynamic energy of your mind nature. It's not something else separate from your mind nature. It is arise from display due to a dynamic energy. While it's arising, negative reactions arising, or positive or neutral, occur within a basic space. They are not occurring out of your mind nature, but they are occurring due to dynamic energy of your mind nature and occurring in dharma. So all actions taken in the dharma. Sorry. We have an example that any activities that take in a space. So the actions can take outside of the space. The same thing, the dharmata is pervasive, and our mind nature is pervasive. So everything occurs within a basic space. And also arising within the context of that space, the same mind nature. Since they occur only within a basic space, they are not straying from within the lease. Without straying to, so what we need to do here is, without trying to anticipate engage or manipulate to change or transform these positive, negative, and neutral phenomena when arise them in any way. And here it is crucial, or it is important to identify basic space itself. And for us, as soon as you rest in that context, once you recognize the basic space of the mind nature, and then as soon as you rest in that state, then everything will subside naturally. So everything means either negative reaction or positive reaction or the neutral reactions, or all phenomena that appears, or your five sensory objects will become dysfunctioning state to doesn't harm our mental state or ourselves, and also doesn't create new karmas. Then, moreover, all afflictive emotions, karma, and habitual patterns are magical expression arising as display due to the dynamic energy. Antidotes that bring improvement, even the path to the liberation, are magical expression arising as display due to dynamic energy. And here we have now we already know that these disturbing emotions or afflictive emotions and karma and pakcha, the habitual patterns, what we have, those are not independent entities that appearing to us. It's arise from the magical expressions that which is magical expressions that rise from us due to the dynamic energy. The dynamic energy means the potential or power of the power of the whatever that thing it is, either our mind nature or either afflictive emotion or karma or habitual patterns, all has this dynamic energy, that potential to produce appearances or entities that appears as a reality, appears as the things. And that's the negative part, afflictive emotion, karma, and habitual patterns. The positive part, the antidote, or we have 6 paramitas and 4 mind changing, and so forth. What we have, Vajrasattva practice, mandala, and Guru Yoga, these sort of antidotes that bring improvement ourselves. We can practice deity yoga or mundo practice to improve our our achievement. Even these antidotes and the path to liberation are also the magical expression that arise from the dynamic energy. So it's here is saying that either negative or entities or things that need to discard, and the positive and antidotes that need to adopt normally. These both are equally arise from the dynamic energy. Therefore, these two doesn't have much different in the sense of Dzogchen practice. And then, since both arise timelessly as a display due to this energy, it is crucial to rest without congruence within a state of reclamation. They are equal in the mode, equal in the manner, and equal in the stirring from the ground of being. They occur circumstantly, are compounded, and do not transcend causality. So it is essential that you transcend causality, resting naturally, resting imperturbably. So since both the disturbing emotion and the bad karmas and so forth, and for the antidotes of 6 paramitas and paths and all positive things, both are the magical display. And therefore, it's a crucial point, or it's important to rest or settle without any fabrication, any further fabrication. There are already fabrication, therefore it's rise, and you fabricate further, then it's become more complicated and more disturbing. State of reclamation or with reclamation. There are in equal mode, both positive and negative, in equal manner, and equal in stirring from the ground of being or the Buddha nature. They are, however, when we think this is positive and this is negative, this is samsara and this is nirvana, then they occur circumstantially, and now they are compounded. We often think interdependent origination is now relying on each other. There is samsara, therefore it's nirvana, because these two, without one, we cannot have the other. Without birth, we cannot have death. Similar as the samsaric thing or nirvanic thing, anything that just we label it and it's depend on each other. They are compounded, so they are not natural and do not transcend causality. So these, when we think about or we see, or we are trapped in this conceptual framework and thinking about this is samsara, this is nirvana, but then they or we do not transcend the causality. We are not beyond causality. We are in the mercy of causality. We cannot get away from that. So it is essential, then it's very essential that you transcend causality. So we must go beyond, think beyond, meditate beyond, and causality. And then we can rest naturally and can rest imperturbably in our mind nature without going beyond causality. We cannot rest in our mind nature. Okay, and thank you everyone. Have patience to stay and listen my talk. We will start this afternoon at 2 o'clock again.
Yes. Could you give us the short dedication, Khenpo, and then I'll do the English?
Okay. Onam deye tamje sikpanye tamne nyebe janam pampi yete jiga nanji balon tropaye ziben zolen roa truwa.
By this virtue, may I achieve the all-knowing state, and may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Thank you, Khenpo, for your teaching. We look forward to seeing all of you this afternoon at 2 p.m. Enjoy the lunch break. Thank you. Okay.
And also we can start with questions first.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we stay connected then. I will stop the recording. And we keep the same section. So I will get I will build a Dropbox so we can share with the people that have been attending the video and the recordings.
Wonderful.
We can send them by email after with the list of people that register for the teachings.
Yeah, we have that list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.